What's going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. And if you did test positive, hopefully you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Tuesday edition of the Pandemic Update for Tuesday, August 1st, 2023. Starting off today with India. India has logged another 36 COVID infections in one day. While that does seem like a lower number, and it is, their active cases is still at 1,474. Their death toll is at 531,917. Now an update to a story that I first told you about yesterday, and unfortunately we have a bad update. So as you know, because I reported on it yesterday, if you didn't see yesterday's video, watch it. It's the one just before this. New Jersey's Governor Phil Murphy is out of country right now. He's on vacation in Italy with his family. That's the update. We now know he's in Italy. And the lieutenant governor was supposed to take over for him while he's gone. However, Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver yesterday was rushed to the hospital for a sudden medical emergency, a sudden illness. Well, we just learned as of today, Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver of New Jersey has died suddenly and unexpectedly at 71 years old. And someone from the New Jersey State Senate, I believe, is now taking over until Phil Murphy comes back. I'm assuming he's going to be coming back right away now that this has happened. So yes, this is not good whatsoever. And it says it here, right here. It says it was just a sudden illness. Doesn't say what the illness was, but she has now died from a sudden illness. Now we move on to this from BNO News, and this is not good news at all. And unfortunately, the news is only going to get worse after this. More than 8,000 people in the U.S. were hospitalized with COVID-19 last week, up 12% from the week before, or 25% from 2 weeks ago. And my feeling is, my gut is telling me that this is going to be a much bigger rise in the coming week. And we already have data that proves it probably will be a bigger rise from New Jersey and New York today, which is not good whatsoever. Now taking a look at this, H5N1. 2 more cats have tested positive for H5N1 bird flu at an animal shelter in Seoul, raising the total to 3. This is in addition to the outbreak last week when 38 cats at another shelter were reported to have died of H5N1. The cause of the outbreak remains unknown. So we don't know what's going on here, but there is going to be a number of measures to limit the risk of human cases. Close contacts will be monitored for 10 days. This is, again, it's from BNO News. All right, let's take a look at air quality today. Not a lot of news that I wanted to share because we have to get something rather important in just a little bit. But first, let's take a look at the air quality and look at New England. Perfect air quality in New England. From the mid-Atlantic on southward, it is slightly unhealthy. Not terrible, but it is slightly unhealthy. And yes, you should be aware that there are some poor air qualities in parts of California and Oregon and Washington and Montana and Wyoming. Also have some poor air qualities as well. And the Great Lakes, yes, it's not as good as it was yesterday in the Great Lakes. If you want to see more about air quality or climate and what causes this and weather in general, I do have another channel that I update every day about the weather forecast, climate. We sometimes show air qualities. We sometimes show different things. And that is at Climate Data Report. Of course, the link for that will be down below. All right, now we have to get to something very important. That is the weekly Walgreens update, which did come in yesterday. And unfortunately, this is where we start our day of bad data with Walgreens. So unfortunately, the positivity rate nationally, it's up 42%. Prior week was 38.8%. That's a difference of up 3.2%. The current week's testing is 1,922. Last week, believe it or not, did finish out with 2,028 tests, or the last report, I should say, because that's higher than what they were reporting for the total test last week. And I'm not 100% certain just how that number can change or how that does change. So apparently, maybe the reporting week wasn't done when they posted, and the tally ends up being higher. I don't know, but the point is, look at this chart, my friends. Yes, testing. It's not where it should be. It's been down, but again, this positivity is really going up, and it's not good to see. All right, we also have to show you here. There's a lot of states that did not report. We're not going to show you every state today. We're going to show you a good number of states, though. Let's just start off with Massachusetts. What's going on there? And Massachusetts positivity this week is at 43.8%. Prior week was 23.8%. That's a difference of up 19.9%. And the current week's total test is 16 versus 21. It's not a massive drop in tests. And we have to think cases going up is part of the reason why this positivity is up. Because wastewater, as we know, is rising in Massachusetts. Then we come down here to Connecticut. The positivity in Connecticut is 28.6%. Prior week is 31.3%. Difference of down 2.7%. 14 tests versus 16. It's not a lot of testing. And I'll be completely fair and honest with you. I wouldn't go by what Walgreens says for Connecticut right now. We showed you wastewater on the Sunday update. Wastewater in Connecticut's up. So, yes, typically you would call this a legitimate drop, but when you're dealing with such small amounts of testing, and let's take a look at it this way too. We don't know what part of Connecticut these tests are coming from. Are they all coming from an area that has maybe low wastewater? Is it all coming from just one section in the state? Is it spread out throughout the state? We don't know that. So let's just say, for example, it was up in Hartford. I think that may have been one of the areas we saw wastewater dropping. I don't remember. But the point is, if all the tests came from there, well, it doesn't represent what's happening down in a place like New London, Fairfield, New Haven, where we know wastewater is currently going up. So if the tests are conducted in a lower wastewater area where, wastewater is currently not rapidly going up, but down, well, then that doesn't give a good reflection on what's happening on the state. So some of these states, please do not take them literally. And I'm going to show you New York here. And to be honest with you, I probably shouldn't be showing you New York, but I'll show it to you. New York is 31.1%. Prior week was 43.4%. That's a difference of down 12.3%. Total tests are at 45 versus 53. Testing is down as well, but I'm going to show you New York State data here in just a couple minutes, so bear with me, and you're going to see, while it may look all peachy and rosy here, when we go to the New York State dashboard, you're going to see a completely different picture. Again, this could be from somewhere within the state that just still happens to not be doing all that bad, because, again, there's millions of people that live in New York State. I guarantee you, 45 tests, let's just say all 45 tests came from, I don't know, some place that has low wastewater at the time. Well, guess what? That's not reflecting what's happening in New York City, Buffalo, Syracuse, Long Island, where we know hospitalizations were on the rise last time we looked at them. Let's take a look at New Jersey now. New Jersey positivity is rising with testing being down. This is another state where we definitely know it's rising in New Jersey right now. 37.3% current positivity this week, 27.1% the prior week. That's a difference of up 10%. 51 tests versus 59. I know what it is, but I'm calling it a legitimate rise just because I know for a fact New Jersey's bad. I will prove that to you in a few minutes. Current week for Pennsylvania. Now, this is a legitimate rise regardless of what's happening in Pennsylvania. 36.4% the positivity this week. Prior week was 26.1%, a difference of up 10.3%, and it's only a one test difference. 22 versus 23. Again, very tiny amounts of testing, but this is a big increase, and because of that, yes, this is a legitimate rise. We know the hubbub world and their data, it shows it going up here. We know wastewater sites are rising in Pennsylvania, and we may soon know if hospitalizations are rising, because we'll probably get another update from the CDC on emergency department visits on Thursday. I'm expecting we'll see an increase in emergency department visits in Pennsylvania, And also, we do know Philadelphia. You'll see that in a little bit. EMS incidents, yeah, they're not so good. All right, let's take a look at Maryland. Maryland is at 29.4%. Prior week was 21.7%. Difference of up 7.7%. Testing is down 17 versus 23. Fortunately, I don't have a lot of data out of Maryland. I would like to find more data out of Maryland. 17 tests versus 23. It could be a legitimate rise, but we'll have to see. All right, now I got to show you some really bad states, my friends. I mean, really, really bad. So this is North Carolina. You noticed I'm zooming it in here. It looks like on the chart maybe it finally peaked. That doesn't matter. 47.7% positivity this week. The prior week was 32.7%. That's a difference of up 15%, and testing's higher. 65 versus 55. That, my friends, is super, super concerning. But if you think 47.7 is bad, I can actually do worse. I can actually do quite a bit worse. Florida. Yeah, I tweeted about this last night, and that tweet really took off. It's like over 2,000 likes on it, tons of comments. Yeah, Florida is something to be steamed about. The current positivity in Florida is 52%. Prior week was 42.9%. Total tests, 398. Prior week was 475. Okay, testing's down, but we do know wastewater is significantly rising in Florida. I've showed you Miami. I've showed you Orlando. This is not good data whatsoever. Florida, come on. Get your act together. Stop standing up there and saying it's a propaganda, it's a scam, it's this, it's that. No, it's not. This is a real virus, and your people are dying because of it. There were over 200 deaths in Florida last week, and we know Florida significantly undercounts deaths. Please take this seriously and stop goofing off. All right, Georgia. Taking a look at Georgia. 40.5% this week, 47.1% last week. Difference of down 6.7%, and testing is up. Again, I don't know where every Walgreens is located in each state. So if all this is coming from Atlanta or one area or another area that is maybe not rising, then hey, that reflects that area and not the entire state. But again, this is, it's a decent size increase in testing. So we'll say maybe it is dropping there. I do want to show you South Carolina. 40.7% in South Carolina, 47.6% last week, down 6.9%, and testing did go up, so this is a drop. 27 versus 21, and South Carolina is not a terribly big state, so we're not going to do that whole fuss about where Walgreens is located there, but now I have to show you some more bad stuff. Yeah, this is really bad. Tennessee, 46.2% positivity this week, 27.6% last week. Difference of up 18.6%. Testing, there's not that much, but it's also not down by much. 26 versus 29. That's only a 3-test drop for such little testing. Yes, this is a legitimate rise. Let's go visit your neighbors in Kentucky. Yeah, more bad news. This is really bad. 50% positivity this week, 30% last week. That's a 20% increase, and testing's up 14 versus 10. That's not a lot of testing. I don't know where it's being done in Kentucky, but this is bad, folks. When I'm showing you these really high positivities, this is bad. This is like early day pandemic when there wasn't any testing. I mean, it's totally ridiculous. Oh gosh, look at this. Alabama, 57.1% positivity. Prior week, 44.4%, a difference of up 12.7%. They don't do a lot of testing, but testing did rise 21 versus 18. My goodness, my friends, that is just bad. Come on, take this seriously. And let's just do one more, and we'll do a few more tomorrow. Yet again, more bad news. 31.8% positivity in Oregon, 10.5% last week. That rose by 21.3% in 1 week. 22 tests versus 19. Yes, it's a legitimate rise. I know we missed Illinois, we missed the Great Lakes. We'll do some more of these tomorrow. I don't want to do all of them today because we do have some other things that I really have to show you. Take a look here at wastewater. You can see wastewater across the country. You know the deal. It's up. Taking a look at, well, here's New York City. As you know, New York City has been rising. And you know what? It's good to show this again. Look at these New York City sites. There's a reason why I'm showing this to you again. Because I'm building you up to what I'm about to show you in just a few moments out of New Jersey and New York. Look at these wastewater rises. We were projecting with these wastewater rises that hospitalizations would respond in a big way, and, well, you'll see. Taking a look at emergency department visits, you can see anywhere in orange here, they are rising. Anywhere in yellow, they're stable. This green and greenish blue colors are dropping, believe it or not. Some states are actually dropping. Is that hard to believe? Yes, but it's happening. And then we do have some gray states, which, of course, we don't like gray states. Gray states are states that don't even bother to report. We have nothing to report on today in COVID history. However, let's move on to variant proportions. For those, maybe you're new to my channel. Maybe this is the first pandemic update you've seen. And in case you didn't know, I'm going to move myself to the left for a second to make it easier for you to see. In case you didn't know, COVID has many different variants and subvariants. And believe it or not, you may have not heard the word Omicron in a while, which started in November of 2021 into December of 2021. You remember the big wave. It's possible you might have had COVID. I don't know. But ever since that, Omicron has generated many different subvariants. As you can see here, the WHO label, World Health Organization, says Omicron. All these variants that you see listed here, subvariants. This is the Omicron is the parent variant. Then it comes to subvariants, are all children of the Omicron variant. And there's two that we're watching right now. Number one, XBB.1.16. It did finally take over at 14.8%, which there was a time we were really concerned that was going to be the next big thing. Now, okay, it did take over, but because Omicron works so quickly, there's already another subvariant that is the next big thing, and that is this guy right here, EG.5, who's at 11.4%. We're expecting to see another update from the CDC on Friday, and my speculation, I'm going to throw this out there now, my speculation is it'll probably now be over 15%, but won't know that till Friday. Don't quote me on that. That's not an official number. That's just my guess on what the new number's going to be. Then you see there's a lot of other subvariants here. As it is variant soup right now, I do think EG.5 has potential to knock quite a few of these off the board. A lot of these lower percentage ones, we might see them finally get tossed out of the picture because EG.5 is just going to really try its best to dominate. It's the most healthiest variant to try and dominate that we've seen in a while because it went from nothing to 11.4% relatively quickly. Alrighty, moving on now, I have to show you New Jersey. Yep, take a look at this. New Jersey, 70 out of 70 hospitals reported. That's all the hospitals in New Jersey. 275 hospitalizations reported today. Yesterday's number was revised. It was at 239. So that's a pretty big increase in hospitalizations. They increased by 36. Would that work out to be? I believe so. So yes, that's not something we like to see. And then we come down here, 16 people on a ventilator. And let's zoom that in as well on the graph. Yep, just it's going up. The number of people on a ventilator is rising at this time. Yesterday it was only at 9. Today it's at 16. So that's not good to see. How about the ICU? 29 people are in the ICU. Let's zoom in. Is that rising? Yes. People in the intensive care units rising as well. So the all quote, oh, well, it's just mild and we don't really have to worry about it anymore. Guess what? We do. Because all forms of hospitalization, ICU, people on a ventilator, people in the hospital, they're rising at this time. Okay, maybe they won't be as big as waves as we saw in the past. I don't know that. You don't know that. But at this time, what we're seeing here is a big rise. And let's just take a look at the discharges. 28 people discharged. But now, more importantly, let's cross the river. Let's come over to Pennsylvania and check in on my city, Philadelphia, where they do, God bless them, they report the totals from the fire department, fire incidents, and more importantly for us, EMS incidents. And yes, sadly, there were 841 EMS incidents yesterday. That's way over my 800 threshold, and it's just bad. I mean, for some reason, the city's saying, oh, well, hospital admissions for last week, there were only just 1 or 2 or... I'm not buying that. Are they testing at all the hospitals in Philadelphia? Is Temple Health testing? Is Area Health testing? Is Penn Medicine testing? Mercy, Paoli Hospital? There's a lot of different hospitals. Are they actually testing? Are the tests accurate at this point? Because we do know false positives, that is a real thing. But seeing this many EMS incidents, I mean, yesterday was not all that hot of a day. It was hot out. We got up to about mid 80s, but it wasn't humid. I mean, this is more incidents we were seeing than we were seeing during the heat wave here of last week. So this is truly concerning. Our numbers have been elevated for well over a month now. This is not good. And continuing on now, we do want to take a live look at what's going in Montgomery County, which is a suburb of Philadelphia. And you can see there are a few incidents we had. 12 EMS incidents right now. And let's take a look at Chester County. You can see in Chester County we got sick person, we have respiratory difficulty, heart problems, respiratory difficulty, sick person. And here sick person can sometimes be their miscellaneous category. At one point earlier today I saw 5 or 6 calls for a sick person at once. So we can assume that the number of people that are actually sick with something, it's on the rise. And earlier today in Montgomery County, I did see cardiac emergency listed 5 or 6 times at once. That's not a good thing, and it's not normal to see it listed that many times. New York State, 526 people have tested positive in the last 24 hours, not including at-home tests, rapids, all that business, reinfections, people who don't bother to get tested. 9.2% positivity. 7-day average is 9.6%. And here we go. I got to take a breather before I can even show this to you. Let's take a look at the hospitalizations in New York State. I'm going to zoom this in. Let's see. Here we go. Wait for it. Yep, look at that. Big increase. So yesterday's report said there were 558 people in the hospital, 60 in the ICU. I'll give you the good number first. ICU's dropped by 2 to 58. There are now 648 people in the hospital. That's right. They increased by 90 in one update. And here's a chart that looks even worse. New York City. Let's zoom this in so you get a good look at it. Let's just zoom right in. Here's where they were on the previous update in New York City. 233 people in the hospital, 21 in the ICU. Today, 306 people in the hospital, 22 in the ICU. Now, I'm going to get comment people down below, these keyboard warriors, whatever you want to call them. Oh, but look how high they were at the start of the pandemic. There was nearly over 12,000 people hospitalized. Oh, look at all these other ways. I get it. We're starting off from the bottom. But you got to start somewhere. And it did start. And it's rising at this point. And we don't know how long it's going to rise. But right now, there is a definite increase going on. And this represents that cases are also up. And we do know a certain percentage of people, could be as high as 30% of people that test positive for COVID, do have long-term issues. So this is going to further add to the number of people that have to go on disability. Alrighty, going to move myself back to the right, and I'm going to just show you one more thing. We're going to end today on some international data. And you can see here with the international update today, here's what we have. Just an ever so slight rise around the world. Weekly death change, down 44%. South Korea, cases are up 17%. Deaths are now up 70%, 97 versus 57. And New Zealand, we do see cases are down 4%. Remind you, New Zealand significantly undercounts on their testing. They do not do enough testing. Italy, cases down 34%, deaths down 78%. And then we come down here to Malaysia, 3% decrease in cases, 67% decrease in deaths, 1 versus 3. And Romania is up 20% on cases. Israel is up 3% on cases. Mako is up 96% on cases. Deaths, 0 were reported there. Chile, 54% increase in cases. Then we come down here to Ireland with a 71% decrease in cases. Norway, cases are now up 63%, but their deaths are down by 1 from the previous week, 5 versus 6. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's pandemic update. I think I have given you enough bad data for one day. I wish I had better data to report, but all signs point to this new surge. The media is calling it just a small rise. No, this is turning into a moderate to major rise in COVID now. Do I personally know when it's going to peak? I don't. If I had to guess, we're going to see it go up and then probably be a quick rise and then go back down. But probably what's going to happen is when it goes down, it's only going to go down so much, and we're going to go back to the pattern we saw last year. Let me go back to New York State for a second here. Remember last year how? Here's New York State. It's the best way to describe this. See how it would go up, then it would drop, then it would stop dropping, then it would go up again. Each time it stopped dropping, it was higher than the last time. I think that's what we're going to see happen across the United States, probably for the rest of this year and into the start of next year. And so, yes, that time period where you can do safe activities. Maybe meet up with a friend that you haven't seen for a long time. Spend a day together, go to a doctor's appointment, do whatever. Sadly, my friends, that time has passed. Start getting a good look at Zoom or Microsoft Teams and start doing things virtually again, because it is not safe again. I showed you New York State hospitalizations. I'm going to zoom this in once more. You can see they're rising. You saw what's going on in New Jersey. Similar picture is happening across the country. I'm going to try and show more state hospitalizations if I can. Just be safe, everyone. I'll see you all again tomorrow. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. If you know anyone that needs a reality check, and they probably don't know that COVID's rising once again, by all means share this with everyone imaginable, because we need to get the information out there that this is bad and the media is not reporting on it enough already. I'll see you all again next time. But until I see you all again next time, please stay safe, everyone. Have a great evening.